Thank you, Tim. Thank you, board. Again, my name is Justin Bryant. I'm running for City Council, Ward 1, New Franklin. As I look around here, I see a lot of friends and family. Thank you guys all for coming out tonight. Just going to make this short and sweet, give a quick bio. I'm a Coventry High School grad. Went to Kent State University. I'm a local business owner here in the community. My wife works for Coventry Township. She's the administrator. In short, I believe in change. If you look around here, can I, with the show of hands, see how many people live in New Franklin? All right, guys. And beyond that, Ward 1. How many people in Ward 1? All right, excellent. Well, change is good. I'm raising a family here. I'm looking to the next 15, 20 years of our city. Not just today. There's been a lot of commotion, a lot of uproar going on in the community here in the last couple months. Keep in mind when you're going to the ballots, change is good, guys. You need somebody in here that's going to look towards the future. I have a family. I have a vested interest in the community. In short, just keep that in mind when you go to the ballots.
Hi. So I am Jim Kotz. I am running for re-election. I'm the current councilperson for Ward 1. This is my first office, elected official. So this is my first time for re-election. Man, it's kind of scary being up here in front of everybody. So real quick, what I've done in the 4 years that I've been, one of the big things that I'm really most proud of is the work that I put into it. I do a lot of research. I ask a lot of questions at the meetings, constantly going to the department heads and saying, hey, why are we spending this money, and what other options do we have, and what can we do differently? I ask a lot of questions because I want to get more questions maybe from the other council people, and more questions then get more discussion going on. So maybe we have an idea, different ideas of how we can do things, how we can accomplish the same goal, but maybe more cheaply or more efficiently. And so that's what I've been doing, and that's what I want to continue to do. Also, I'm very proud of being able to respond quickly to the citizens. So when they email me, when they call me, I try to have my phone number out there for people. Give me a call, and I do what I can to answer your questions. And if I don't have the answer, then I talk to the right person and find the answer for you. So many times, I know people have an expectation of what they want that answer to be. But I'm not going to give you an answer just to make you happy. I'm going to tell you, what it is, and this is the way it is, and hopefully it's what you want to hear, but at least it's going to be the right answer. We do have some things going on in New Franklin that we're working on. I think one of the biggest issues that we have in New Franklin as far as the city and the government is communication, and that's something that as a city we really need to work on, and we really need to focus on, is the communication, getting word out. I hear often when we have an event that people will say, well, I didn't know anything about that. Nobody told me. Well, that's a problem. We got to get that stuff out there. People need to know what's going on. We have the Tudor House, which has a lot of great events going there. And, we have the Oktoberfest coming up in a couple weeks, which is going to be a great family event. But we have to do a better job of getting that information out to all of our citizens. The clock is ticking. I appreciate you all coming out. I appreciate having this opportunity, and have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Thank you to Plaque for hosting this event every year. My name is Jack Daniels, and I'm here seeking election for Ward 2 Council in the city of New Franklin. I've had the pleasure of living here in this great community for about 25 years, raised my family here, and as soon as we moved here, I fell in love with the area. I fell in love with the schools, and I immediately got involved and started getting involved in not only schools with my children, but also in the city. In fact, I've been involved in a variety of things, including the actual creation of the city itself. My proudest accomplishment in the community recently, though, is Manchester Education Foundation, which is a board of about a dozen people who chose me to be their founding chairman We have given away $50,000 since 2014 to students and teachers within the Manchester School District. I am very proud to say that we are having an impact. We're giving money directly into a teacher's pocket so that that teacher can inspire, can be creative, and doesn't have to dig into their own pocket to be an inspiration to their children. In addition to my work in the community, I'm the president of Kendall Transport and Cold Storage, which is based on the east side of Akron. I bought the trucking company from my father when I was very young. At the time, we only had a few employees, and our offices were actually inside of a hotel room. Today, the Kendall companies have grown into not only a successful truck line, but we have a successful refrigerated cold storage company. We store and haul food. I am very proud to say that we have 70 employees and very low employee turnover. It's a good place to work, it's a good place to be. And I credit some of our employees' satisfaction and our customer satisfaction with the fact that I, as the president, don't hesitate to hop in a tractor trailer and drive truck. I'm not above rolling up my sleeves, getting involved, and working side by side with the men and women who helped make my company a success. I believe that my leadership skills, my experience, my community involvement, my willingness to work hard make me the best candidate for the city of New Franklin. I am committed to open lines of communication, which has been an issue. I am committed to reaching out to citizens about initiatives prior to drafting legislation. I am committed to giving the time and effort the job deserves to help New Franklin continue to be a fantastic place to live and raise a family. I thank you deeply for your consideration.
Good evening. Thank you for inviting me here to speak about this. I won't speak long. I know it's the middle of August out there, so nobody wants to sit in here and sweat all night and listen to me. Basically, what I'm here to do is explain our fire levy. We have the fire department of New Franklin operates on two levies. We have a continuing levy that was originally passed in 1982. That's a continuing levy that we've had. We also have a 5.75 mil renewal levy that renews every 5 years. That 5.75 was originally voted in 2009. We went ahead and approved a renewal of that levy again in 2014. So we're looking at 10-year-old money that we're working with now. So the idea that we had was we're going to replace the 5.75 that we currently have with a new 5.75. Now what that will do is that will get us a slight increase in funding for operating costs. I know everybody wants to know what that costs. So the average home appraised value in the city of New Franklin, and this is per Summit County, comes out to, the appraised value is $121,600. It's going to cost that person an additional $53.38 a year for fire service. Now, you ask, what does that get you? That gets you 24/7 paramedic coverage with ambulances. It gets you a fire inspection program for the businesses, a prevention program for the schools and community. Also allows us to operate our special operations, which includes vehicle extrication at auto accidents, water rescue on the lakes. We also do non-emergency assistance. We do invalid assist. We assist with installing smoke detectors, CO detectors, problem solving with smoke detectors and CO detectors. So basically, that's just a real quick overview of what we do. Just to know that in 2018, we responded to 1,872 requests for service. So the department has also, it's not that we've tried cutting costs where we can. We apply for grants. To this point, we've received over $1.5 million in grants. So We're just asking for a slight increase to continue that operation of the department. Thank you.
Good evening. Thanks to Plaque for putting this on, all the fabulous things they do each year around the clock for the community. And thanks to you folks for being here. I know this is the one that you all came out to hear about, the New Franklin proposed charter amendments. Probably the primary reason I'm here is because I want you to know we care about them. They're not the most exciting issues. It's basically house cleaning issues. We are a charter government, and consistent with our charter, the charter is reviewed every 5 years. The Charter Commission was appointed in January. They worked really hard, line by line, article by article. We have 85 articles in the charter, and at the end of their work, they suggested amendments to 9 of those. Again, the substantive one is on, and these were divided down to 3 ballot issues by the Board of Elections. Ballot issue 36 is the most substantive of the changes. This would replace the Civil Service Commission with a Personnel Advisory and Appeals Board. We looked at, actually patterned this after the City of Hudson, and they've had this since before 2000. The civil service for us was somewhat cumbersome from time to time. There were delays. It took us maybe 90, 120 days to fill a position as we went through all the testing, sometimes unnecessary expense. The Personnel Advisory and Appeals Board retains all of the necessary constitutional requirements to assure that all appointments and promotions will be made solely on the basis of merit and fitness. It's just a less cumbersome process. So that's ballot issue 36. Ballot issue 37 addresses clarification of requirements for the mayor and council eligibility. This is clearly a housekeeping one. As to both of those, the way this charter reads right now is that a person has to be a resident for 2 years. And I was an old English major, and some of the sticklers said, well, does that mean exactly 2 years? So we're clearing that up to say at least 2 years. 38, ballot issue 38 cleans up 4 other items. We add governmental organizations to the organizations that the Parks Commission has to seek input from. We remove the requirement that the Charter Commission submit a specific number of charter amendments. For some reason it said they had to submit 5, or at least 5. There was a mix-up in the requirement for approval of certification of funding for alterations to contracts, and it corrects that by saying the mayor does that and certification comes from the finance director. And lastly, that it cleans up the language relative to the process for primary elections. I'm seeing a 15, so I want to use my last 14 seconds to ask you to support that fire levy. We're so proud of our fire department. They work so well in conjunction with the fire department out here, and we ask for your support of these charter amendments and also the fire levy as well. Thank you very much.
Good evening, and thank you, Portage Lakes Advisory Council, for this opportunity and all the efforts it took in your planning. While I might appear to you as a newbie to this community of Coventry, I'm not a newbie to service. In both the communities of Copley and Bath Townships, I have over 20 years of service in the schools, the churches, the athletic programs, and the community programs as well. In the past 10 years here in Coventry as a resident, I have also engaged in my local church. I also frequent the Coventry High School volleyball program over the past 4 years at all team levels. And most recently, in the past 15 months, I've been spearheading a neighborhood campaign in trying to gain the support to help maintain the neighborhood, our neighborhoods as intended, by prohibiting the commercial activity of short-term rentals in our residential areas. The professional background and experience to which I will draw upon as I serve this community comes by way of finance, operations, logistics, ISO quality and audit, as well as Six Sigma programs, and coaching and officiating youth to college sports. Upon being elected Coventry trustee, there are a few areas of concern that I will address earlier than later. First being our safety and health patrol to call ratio. I will begin by evaluating the past contract and negotiations with Summit County and update the sheriff's services to the current community demands. In the same breath, I will also be working with the residents as making each neighborhood a crime watch area. Secondly, zoning definitions and the neighborhood they are meant to support. As I read through our zoning book, I was amazed at the foresight of our founding community leaders. To quote from the late Tom Cease, I have lived in Coventry Township most of my life, and it is much better today than it was in previous years. This could only be true because this vision used in the writing of our zoning book. Lastly, it is time to rejuvenate our residents to trustee relationships. Our residents are like shareholders, and when a shareholder has a concern about a compromising activity that may impact the investment of Coventry Township, they should be heard with good ears, they should have timely responses, and they should be sitting down personally with us to base a plan on zoning regulations. In closing, I would like to draw upon the community spirit that surrounds us daily. People like Aaron Krogan that believe in the value of the restoration of our land assets. The Paul Nugebauers that set out to create a high standard through innovative programs. And the Sue Johns that tend to the heart of Coventry through the care and beauty. The community of Coventry Township is long overdue for a new set of eyes and ears. I consider it a privilege to serve this community, and I thank you for your considerations on November 5th.
I'm George Beckham, candidate for Coventry Township trustee. I've been a resident of Coventry Township since 1978, the last 30 years serving as the township zoning inspector. I've been both involved in and seen many changes in our community. As zoning inspector, I approved all construction, land use, and dealt with housing maintenance issues. In a small community, the zoning inspector is the first person contacted by residents and/or potential businessmen with a wide variety of questions. An important asset I bring to the table is understanding how a township government is enabled by the Ohio Revised Code to do very specific actions. A township cannot take all the things a city does. A township is very limited. Having worked with the numerous county offices, I know who to call when a question arises. Being an insider is not necessarily a problem. I will not hesitate to contact people who can help me understand the problem. As a trustee, I will not vote on items I do not understand. I will have done my homework before the meeting, as I always did when I was zoning inspector. During my tenure as zoning inspector, I served on several county boards and review committees. I've worked with both community development block grants as well as Ohio Public Works grants. My experience with grants will help greatly should the township decide to apply. I've also served on the Summit County Planning Commission since 2007. Coventry Township has survived levy campaign to levy campaign, especially since the state legislature slashed the local government funds 10 years ago. If a levy fails, it's coming right back. And if it fails again, there's a problem. Small or no increases mean some departments typically go over their budgeted amounts. All departments must live within their budgets. That's not a new concept. That's something we must work to achieve. As a trustee, my focus will be sustainability of our departments and township. I will be selective as to what levies are placed on the ballot. Finally, I believe we need more daily sheriff's coverage. I'm talking about levels that we had 25 years ago. 25 years ago, we had 2 deputies, now we have 1. After speaking with residents the short time that I've been involved in this campaign, I find out that they have a real concern for the safety in their own neighborhoods. And I don't think that's positive for the community. I will work with Summit County Sheriff to try to put more deputies in the neighborhoods patrolling. Thank you for your support and vote.
Well, a lifetime of community of service. I am Richard Kudichief. I am your Coventry Township trustee. My leadership is proven and strong. My experience greatly outweighs all of my other opponents in all ways. You know, there's a great difference between working for the township and leading the township and being active in the township. I'm a graduate of Mount Union College. I got my Juris Doctorate degree from the Claude W. Pettit College of Law, Ohio Northern University. I'm the organist at at Hope Lutheran Church. I'm a musician. As a lawyer, I make impacting decisions for my clients daily. As a trustee, I make decisions impacting us all and the future daily. I have the skills and experience to lead Coventry Township and lead us into the future. I have the skills to bring families here from Akron, and not just to Greene and surrounding areas. Sorry, Mayor, about that, but I've been involved in the community since my wife Becky and I came here in 1978, raised 3 kids, active in sports, developing and building our parks. Over time, I found a dwindling of our identity here. So I created the Coventry Township flag, and I obtained our own Coventry Township address, Coventry Township, Ohio. That's where our mail comes now. That's who we are. It sets us apart. I listen to residents, and I also attend to each concern, keeping all informed about Coventry Township activity. I am a problem solver for Coventry Township. I am not a single issue person. And I'm vigilant about spending in Coventry Township. I'd love another deputy, but it's all about money. I, along with my trustee colleagues, have met with the top brass of the Ohio Department of Natural Resources as how to Coventry Township will control, use, and manage the East Reservoir clock tower footprint for the benefit and development of not only us, but the region as a whole. I have the experience, and the experience which counts. That's what I'm doing. I've negotiated police contracts and obtained fire state-of-the-art equipment. I've changed the status of the community center, the senior center, to the community center for all of us to use. I've engaged a sidewalks interconnectivity walkway plan with the University of Akron engineering students at no cost to the township, with hopes that grants will be able to build them. I've cut grass, trimmed hedges, changed light bulbs, and yes, I've painted fire hydrants. These are things I've done with my colleagues, Ed Dybel, Robert Safian, and Tom Sees. In conclusion, when we look for change in leadership, consider what we're changing from and why there's a need to change and what that change is. We are the heart of Portage Lakes. I am your Coventry Township trustee. I ask for your support. Thanks, PLAC, and thanks everyone else for listening. Thank you.
George didn't use the, can everybody hear me okay? So I don't like those things. Why should I be a Coventry Township trustee? I've lived in Coventry for 39 years. My wife taught in Coventry schools for 14 years. My son graduated from Coventry High School. And although that might be interesting, not one of those things qualifies me to be a trustee. Not one of them. But these do. I have served this community for 20 years. First on zoning commission, and 5 years as fiscal officer, and currently have the honor of filling the position of Coventry Township trustee since the passing of Tom Cease last February. I have developed strong relationships with the Attorney General, Auditor of State, State Senator Vernon Sykes, and the administrative offices of the ODNR. I can pick up a telephone at any time and talk to that office immediately. I am the only candidate with the intimate knowledge and the hands-on knowledge of the workings of the township from being a fiscal officer. I am known to deliver my promises, reduce unnecessary spending, assist the road department, zoning department, work with the fire department, overseeing their costs and expenses to reduce them. I've handled Ingleside Park. I've developed a plan to improve all of the current and future township parks. I have written and submitted to the other trustees, Township Legal Counsel, and Summit County Executive a maintenance program to improve all communities. And I always respond to my residents' phone calls and emails, and Lisa can attest to that. My agenda is the township. I am able to remove my personal likes and dislikes from decision making. I've actually been heard saying, huh, I'm wrong. I didn't think of that. My biggest goals are community, assisting businesses, the public, and the school system. Although the school and the township are completely different entities, it is important to do everything possible to work together with them, which will benefit the entire community. I hope that my record proves that I am the only choice to serve, and remember, this is my only job. Thank you.
This is my first time running for any public office, and I'll tell you right now that I'm not nervous at all. And that's the last time I will be untrue with you. Just a little bit about my background. My name is Jeff Hauk. I've lived in Coventry for 15 years. I've lived in Ohio for, I think, 45 years now. My wife Lisa and I are business owners. We owned the Upper Deck for a number of years. She's the true celebrity in the family. We're getting ready to open a restaurant at the old Anthony's location over in Manchester Road, so I hope to see you all there. We have 3 children, 2 daughters-in-law, and 2 granddaughters that we're all very proud of. I'm a graduate of the Pennsylvania State University for a bachelor's degree, where I got my degree in logistics and business, and then I was a master's degree candidate or graduate from University of Akron. So what I've done with my career, again, I'm not a career public office person, but I do love Coventry Township. I've lived here for 15 years. I love it. It's such a beautiful community. I've met so many beautiful people, and I really love living here. And as I've sat with the trustee meetings, I see all the hard work that's going on in the community, and I really applaud our department directors and our trustees. They've really been doing a great job. But I also see in my background, when I graduated from Penn State, I went into healthcare, and I used my logistics degree and some of my engineering background to help hospitals save money by identifying departments that were bloated and not running well. After that, I started a couple of long-term acute care hospitals, and after that, I started a few hospice programs. Most recently, we started a home care company, and we're taking care of seniors in their homes. The reason I bring all that up is those have all been different concepts for me. I can't believe I've gone that long already. It doesn't feel like it. Those have all been different concepts. I've walked into many different concepts as a business leader and business owner, and I figured out how to make that concept work within a greater organization and within the organization itself. And so through that, I've been able to create many jobs. We've experienced very low employee turnover because fortunately, there's this innate ability to help people understand that they serve a larger purpose in life and help them enjoy their jobs and help them understand that what's really important to them is family. So what I want to do is I want to bring that business background to Coventry Township. Again, I want to ask you, and Robert, thanks for pointing out that there are 2 positions open. I ask you humbly for your vote. It'll be the first time you've ever been able to vote for me, so why not? Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Kathy Finnefrock, and I am running for a seat on the Coventry School Board. Many people ask why I would want to tackle this job. I want to improve the situation in our schools, and I care about our students. I have been attending school board meetings and fiscal commission meetings for years. I have read current and past state assessments of our schools' report cards. I have reviewed our 5-year forecasts and auditors' reports, and I watched with dismay as Coventry schools fell into fiscal emergency after 19 years of fiscal watch. When a seat opened on the school board, I decided I wanted to be part of the solution. Attending meetings and following what was happening in Coventry schools just wasn't enough. Strong schools are critical to our community and our children's future. I have 2 key concerns. They are educational effectiveness and financial solvency. Our test scores are trending downward. We have been designated a moderate DF by the state's new assessments. We received a grade of D in the category Prepared for Success in high school. That news is frightening. Our students deserve better. We need to improve to have successful outcomes for our students. We need to be competitive with other districts, and our students need to be prepared for life after high school. We need to take steps immediately to develop a community strategy to move us forward. Our finances are still in need of a critical analysis as we remain in fiscal emergency. We currently have 9 school levies, 2 emergency levies which need continual renewal. Because of fiscal emergency, our state commission oversees our spending and sets us rules to follow. We are fortunate to have quality teachers, staff, and a new superintendent. But compensation options are limited due to fiscal emergency. Open enrollment is a financial issue, and we need to balance this issue to best serve the residents of Coventry. I am aware that the school board faces many challenges, and I don't have all the answers. I will bring a new viewpoint to the board, and if elected, we'll have an open mind on the issue. I will work with other members to initiate positive change. I thank you for your time, and I ask you for your vote on November 5th.
My name is Dan Fauser. It's F-O-U-S-E-R. On the paper, you'll see an F-A-U-S-E-R. There is a F-A-U-S-E-R. That is the Fauser Arboretum. It's on the south end of Springfield, of Crystal Lake up in Stowe. Anyway, a little bio on myself. I'm a first time here, and I've been living in the community for 20 years. I first moved into the community and loved it, and I still love it today. It was quiet, it was nice. I would bring friends down from the northern side of Akron, and they'd go, "This is great down here. Look how quiet it is. Look how this." It's changed. It's changed. Rules. The school district we're talking about. We've got to do something. A little bio on me. I graduated from Kent State, got my bachelor's, got my master's from Akron. I've taught school for 34 years at Revere Schools and other local schools. While I was teaching school, I was also an official, an NCAA official. My main conference at the time was the Big 12 and the Conference USA, along with working the Mid-American with Akron and Kent, and also the conference at Clevelandton with the Horizon League. Refereed coast to coast. I'm a rules type of guy. I've taught school. It's a rules and it's an order type of thing. We need to start to follow rules and follow orders. The state of Ohio has put our schools in this predicament, so to speak, but they didn't do it. We did it to ourselves. Right now, the Coventry schools, it has 782 of the over 2,000 students that we have are not living in the district. 37.7% of the students are not Coventry people. They're open enrollment people. That's the second highest in the state of percentage of the population of the students versus the home students, to give you an idea. We're losing. I keep on looking at my notes. I can't believe these numbers. We're ending up losing almost $1 million a year. We're losing that because we have all these students, and you and I are paying for that with our taxes. There needs to be more fiscal responsibility, and we need to go back and check out this open enrollment. We need to do something about it. We need to follow the rules the state has set up and go by it. We can't just do what we want to do. We have to follow those guidelines. And I'd like to thank the PLAC for my opportunity tonight, and thank you very much. Vote for Dan Fauser for school board. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, I'm Vicki Tapanier. I just wanted to give you a little bit of information about myself really quick. My husband, Corey, who's out here, and I have lived in Coventry for 17 years. part of the reason why we moved here, we had a young daughter who was 15 months old, and from experiences that I had at the preschool that I was teaching at the time, we were fortunate to have students from Coventry that were part of our program, and I was impressed with how those kids came out of our school district, and they were taught to be respectful and kind, and it was just looking at the other districts of the other communities we were looking at moving into. We were really excited about moving to Coventry. So we moved here when Madison was 15 months old, and she is a proud product of the Coventry school system. She just graduated last year from the high school and is now an elementary education major at Nova Southeastern University in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And the reason why she chose elementary education is not just because I was a teacher, but she loved her teachers and the people that she interacted with in Coventry schools. So I have a passion and a love for our district that probably can't be matched by most people in our community. Our other daughter, Lexi, is a freshman at the high school this year, and again, has just had, she's had some struggles when she first started out. We had amazing programs and teachers that came alongside her, and she's now an A and B student in our high school and is on the tennis team and is doing an amazing job. And I credit that completely to our staff, our teachers, our administration. Our administration is so amazing that you can sit down with the superintendent at any time that you want to and have a meeting. There's not a lot of districts that you're able to have that type of contact with. So for a parent who wants the best for their kid, that experience in itself is just, I can't even explain how important that is to me, to my husband, and to many of the other parents in Coventry. So anyways, I was asked to run for the school board 8 years ago. At the time, we could not afford Post-it notes and paper clips for our teachers. Our PTA, which I was a PTA mom, were being asked to provide those items. When I was asked to run, I've never done anything like that before, and I thought, well, let's see how this goes. And we have made vast improvements over the last 8 years. Before that, there was a plan in place with our previous board when we went into fiscal emergency that would have gotten us out of fiscal emergency without a new income tax. Unfortunately, some things changed, and that's not the case at this point. Just in closing, just in response to some open enrollment comments, I would like to recommend that anyone who has questions about our open enrollment, students and families, I am sure Mrs. Blau, who is sitting right here, would love to meet with any of you and give you the exact numbers that we have in our school district and how that program works and how it does benefit our students at Coventry schools. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your organization, Heather. I really appreciate it. I know what it's like to be a working mom and trying to coordinate lots of stuff. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks everybody for coming. Thanks Plaque. Good luck to everybody running. It's a special thing to be a public servant, and you're gonna get a little more kicks in the rear than thank yous, but it's just have some tough skin. It's worth it. It feels good to work for your community. Our issue is issue 2 for the fire and EMS. It's very similar to New Franklin's. This will be a replacement levy, just bringing it up to today's standards of tax evaluation on your home. Old levy was $216.50 for $100,000 eval. That's going up $20 a half, so $236 for 100. So $20, just trying to bring it into the mainstream. I've been coming to meetings for 13 years. I've been your trustee for 6. The fire department will be, it's the last department we're trying to get out of the general fund. We've been supporting it for as long as I know. It's an expensive thing to have, but if you want people to show up at your door, you got to have it. And other than our day shift, we have 4 people a shift on 2nd and 3rd. So if there's a fire, I mean, we 2 people go in, you got to have 2 people out. And a lot of times New Franklin helps us, we help them. So it's not like we got 8 guys laying over there playing cards. The EMS runs are unbelievable, what we do in this township. And let's hope we get the opioid things under control. Been doing a lot of those runs. Still, it seemed to heat it back up, which is unfortunate. But again, 6 years ago, we were hemorrhaging about $500,000 out of the general fund, out of the savings account, if you will. If we can get the fire levy up to snuff, we'll be out of the general fund and everything will be self-sustaining, which was my goal 6 years ago. That way, if you vote for a park levy,
guess where that money has to be spent? At the parks. Fire department, fire department. So, although it's nice to have float in the general fund when something comes up short, you know when you vote for a levy, your money goes where it's supposed to go. So I thank you for your time, and again, good luck, everyone.
Yes, I'm sure the school board wants me to correct that. Hi, good evening. 3 minutes is not a lot of time. My husband said before I left, my goodness, it takes you 3 minutes to introduce yourself. So I'm going to try to be very efficient. My name is Lisa Blau. I am actually the superintendent for Coventry Schools, and I'm here to talk this evening about our proposed 1% earned income tax. And as I was thinking about it and all the information that goes along with this, I thought, I'm such a nerd, I need to be very, very organized. So really, I picked 5 key things to discuss this evening. The first one is caring about our senior citizens and those with disabilities, and here's how that relates. An earned income tax is levied on individuals whose wages are currently earned, okay? This is very different than a traditional income tax. There are all types of compensations that are actually exempt from being taxed in an earned income tax situations. Examples include pensions, Social Security, supplemental support income, and so forth. This is very important and a very positive aspect of an earned income tax because it means that those who are retired or those who may be disabled and living on fixed incomes will not be taxed in this earned income tax situation. Number 2, we're spreading the responsibility. Since the tax is based on earned income, it means the responsibility doesn't just fall on property owners. In fact, it falls on all wage earners, meaning those who rent and those families who may live in single dwelling homes but have multiple families living there. Everyone will contribute. Number 3, the third reason is property taxes will decrease. Yes, I said that. Property taxes will decrease. This is because the Coventry School Board is committed to allowing the 2015 emergency property tax to fall off the books if this levy passes. The 2015 emergency property tax will not be renewed if this earned income tax passes. Number 4, long-term financial stability. This is our best opportunity for the school districts to get out of its current financial woes. That's about all I'm going to say there. Number 5, lastly, and probably the most important reason, is for student success and academic achievement. Our students are in need of basic resources and educational materials. Please help us provide these for them so they can reach their fullest potential and have lifelong success. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Holly Miller, and I am the Precinct Committee Representative for Precinct B in Coventry. And while I am not opposed to any levy, what I am opposed to is the misinformation that has been given out to some of the community. I want to make sure that the voters of Coventry are given the correct information on the 1% income tax levy, also known as issue number 7. There are 9 property tax levies for the school. One will go away and be replaced with the 1% income tax levy. The income tax levy is for anyone who has earned income and lives in Coventry. Property owners will still have 8 property tax levies, 6 of which are continuing and will never be returned to the voters. If you are self-employed and you live in Coventry, you will not get a tax break. You will still pay the 1%. If you work in a city where they take out taxes, for example, you work in the city of Greene, you will pay 2% to the city of Greene, and then you will pay 1% to Coventry. You will also then have the 8 remaining property tax levies. I encourage everyone to educate yourself on the issues and on the candidates. Social media can be good and bad, and I think that some people have been misled with what has been put on social media. Again, 1% tax levy does not mean all of the property taxes are going away. Take time to call the candidates. Don't rely on social media and word of mouth. They will talk to you. They want to be your public servant. Take time and research the issues because they will affect you and will affect your family. And as your precinct committee representative, which I'm sure some of you don't even know we exist, we are here to help you. We are the grassroots part of government. So if you have any questions, you can always call me. You can find me. I'm pretty easy to find. I'll be here afterwards. I'm more than happy to give you my phone number and I will help you get the correct information. Thank you for coming tonight and thank you for hosting this event.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me to come and take a few minutes out of this evening to explain the Summit County ADM Board Levy Issue 14. First and foremost, I would like to thank the residents of Coventry, Greene, and New Franklin for being supportive of people in recovery the last 2 levy cycles and, of course, during the last several years. Today, more than ever, we know that addiction and mental illness does not discriminate. We all know someone that is affected by one of these illnesses, and our goal at the ADM board is to support those people and families when they need help the most. Issue 14 is a renewal. It is not a new tax. It will continue to cost about $7 per month for a person who owns a home valued at $100,000. It is a renewal of a levy that was originally passed in 2007. It's a 2.95 mil levy. With these funds, the ADM board provides 78% of our budget. And with that budget, we fund crisis services in our community 24 hours a day. We fund prevention services in the schools. And in Manchester, Greene, and Coventry, we fund suicide prevention and substance use prevention programs for schools. We also have programs in 17 total districts in Summit County, reaching over 30,000 students per year. We believe that treatment works, people recover, and our services are critical to fill the gaps for those who need help at critical points in their lives. We would appreciate your support for issue 14. I'll be around if you have any specific questions about it. I'd be happy to answer those. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good evening. If I've not met you yet, my name is Gerard Neugebauer, Mayor of the City of Greene. I decided to run for Mayor of Greene 4 years ago. At the time, I knew that my education experience that I was well prepared to lead the City of Greene. I have a degree in civil engineering. I have a master's degree in business administration, finance. And I had spent 30 years of my career in engineering building communities in Northeast Ohio. From what I knew at the time, here was the promise that I made, that I would lead with honesty and integrity, and from there everything else flows. The second thing was to practice fiscal discipline, and trust me, if you practice fiscal discipline, everything else flows. Also to relieve congestion on Maslin Road, as we all know is very busy, expand our sheriff presence in our city, just like Coventry's talking about, supporting our fire department with equipment and things they needed, and to improve our parks. So let's start with fiscal discipline. When I became mayor, we had $60 million of debt. I don't believe New Franklin has any debt. So could you imagine walking in the door and having $60 million of debt? So in 4 years, we've aggressively driven that down by $16 million. Income tax revenues are strong in the city. They were $21.5 million. And we've driven those up every year through economic development. This year, we're going to top 25 million, 12.3 increase over the last 3 years. But more importantly, in 2015, our operating expenses were 26 million in the city. Last year, we were down 1.3 million from levels 3 years ago. So when you drive up revenues and you drive down your operating costs, you have a lot of room to work. We also have driven up our TIF revenues from economic development. We've doubled those revenues in the last 3 years. We're now over $3 million a year from TIF revenues. And so what happens when you have a good flow of cash? You can pay down your debt, but you can also make the improvements you need in your community. We've improved our safety. We've expanded the sheriff presence in the community. We've gone from 3 to 5 deputies in critical times. We put resource officers in our parks in the summer. We support our fire department, 2 new ambulances, a new tanker. and fiscal responsibility has led to safety. And we've relieved the congestion on Massillon Road with several projects, including the lane on Massillon Road to Bettler and the lane on Corporate Woods to Massillon. Plus, we threw in 3 roundabouts in our community because we were able. Roundabouts save money, they save time, they save fuel, and most importantly, they save lives. So in conclusion, I now have 20 years of city leadership, 4 years on city council, and 4 years of mayor. What does integrity mean to me? My word is my contract. In 33 years of marriage to my wife, Maria, in 20 years of public service, and in 4 years as your mayor. It's promises made, promises kept. It's building our community together. Please join me as we continue this momentum. I ask for your vote on November 5th. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Matt Shaughnessy, and I'm running for Mayor of Greene. I've lived in Greene for 15 years. I'm 53 years old, married to Cindy Hulse, and we have 5 children. When I graduated high school, I had 2 dreams. One was to compete in the Olympics as a decathlete. The other was to be a firefighter. My Olympic dreams didn't happen, not even close. But the other one did. And because of that, my life has been fulfilled beyond my wildest dreams. My journey to becoming a firefighter started by taking civil service exams. I took all the exams I could. I took police exams, I took firefighter exams. I even took the air traffic controller's exam. I'm telling you this, as a result, in 1988, the Cleveland Police Department offered me a job, and I took it. A year later, I got a call and a job offer to be a firefighter paramedic with the city of Fairview Park. My dream of becoming a firefighter came true. And I share these details with you now because I want you to understand what I believe public service is all about. In paramedic school, you learn all about life-threatening conditions and life-saving interventions. But there's no chapter in the books to teach you how to help someone who is scared, someone afraid, or someone who feels alone. You learn that on the job, oftentimes just doing what seems natural under the circumstances. You reach out, you hold that person's hand when you're riding into the hospital, and something magical happens. The look of fear subsides, the sense of loneliness abates, and to me, that's the essence of public service. Public service is taking the time to do what's not required. It's about going the extra mile. To let people know they matter, their problems matter, and they don't have to face them alone. As you may know, the direction of any organization starts from the top and permeates throughout the organization. And city government is no exception, which is why I chose to use my 3 minutes to share with you my vision of what public service means to me. My campaign slogan is "A Mayor for the People." I view that as a contract with the citizens of Greene. And now, I respectfully ask you to accept that contract by voting for me, Matt Shaughnessy, Tuesday, November 5th. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Steve Kraneski. I'm a candidate to be the first elected law director in the city of Greene. I'm a 24-year resident of the city. I'm actually, November 5th will be my 34th anniversary of becoming a licensed lawyer in the state of Ohio. I'm a graduate of Youngstown State University and the University of Akron School of Law. So why me? Why am I the best candidate? Well, when you have to do this job, experience matters. And as someone actually gave me this idea, they said, "Steve, you're job ready. You know how to do this job." I have over 24 years of government law and municipal law experience. I was the city's appointed law director from January 2001 until May 2016. And both before that and after that, I gained much municipal law and government law experience by working as special counsel to the Iowa Attorney General, handling property, contract, employment, litigation, and other matters for the universities in the area, Kent State, Akron University, and the medical school, the UConn. Now, Green's charter has and always has required that the person serving in this position have at least 5 years of municipal law experience or similar experience. I have 5 times the minimum requirement. And what does this job involve? It involves, many things that I've done for many years. For example, when I look back, I've written over 2,000 resolutions and ordinances for the city. That's one of the things you have to do. I've handled thousands of public record requests, something that you deal with as a law director every day. I authored over 100 opinion letters for the city bond instruments and their debt financing. Hundreds of opinion letters on legal issues for the city staff and administration. I've been involved with the city buying real estate, selling real estate. I've handled employment disputes and labor disputes with the unions and worked through matters with the unions. One of the things I'm most proud of is our collaborative agreements with the city schools for both the central administration building and for the community learning centers, the newest schools that we have. So when you look back, and there's many other things I could mention, I'm job ready. I know how to do this job, I've done it. I have the backing of the former mayors that know that I know how to do this job, and I respectfully ask for your vote on November 5th. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Attorney Lisa Dean, and I'm a candidate for Law Director for the City of Greene. You heard Mr. Perneski say that he previously served as our Law Director, but remember, as he said, he was appointed to that position. The citizens of Greene did not have the choice in his appointment. Instead, he was given a hand up to have those experiences that he just posted about. The City of Greene will elect our Law Director for the very first time ever this coming election day. With this newly elected position comes the hope for a new day, that we will move our city forward and in a more positive direction. I'm here tonight to respectfully request and earn your vote. My legal experience includes not only being a lawyer, but also a magistrate, judicial attorney, mediator, and guardian ad litem to protect children. My personal experience is as mother of graduates of Greene High School and of the PLCC. We have vibrant and excellent educational institutions within our city, and my family fully supports our exceptional schools. As a legal advocate for not only vulnerable children, but also the elderly for the past 2 decades, it has been my absolute joy to not only fight for my clients, but also educate them about their rights under the law. I believe that the citizens of Greene want a law director who will protect our community, provide sound legal advice to the mayor and council, and keep the public informed by communicating the law director's conclusions and decisions. The City of Greene has experienced great division in our community caused by the Nexus Pipeline settlement. It has divided our elected officials, our neighborhoods, and our citizens. I'm a lawyer with more than 20 years of experience and training in mediation from the Ohio Supreme Court to handle such intense conflict. And my first priority would be to unite us by refocusing our energies on protecting our city and our citizens rather than fighting each other and causing further division. I believe the elected law director should take the responsibility to communicate and educate our citizens about the enforcement and compliance of the Nexus Pipeline settlement to avoid further confusion, accusations, speculations, and rumors like we have had over the past few years. We have spent much time and resources attending to those neighborhoods directly affected by the Nexus Pipeline, but all of our citizens want to see their neighborhoods and schools thrive. And citizens have other concerns such as roundabouts and the rapid growth and development of our city. As a former magistrate of a municipality, I have experience managing and resolving housing and zoning issues from the bench to keep the municipality safe and the neighborhoods desirable. and this experience has prepared me in a unique way to be our first elected law director. I want to thank the board for hosting this event tonight. If you have any more questions about me or want more information, you can go to my website, deanforgreen.com. I also have cards back there that have that website on it and pens. And again, I ask for your consideration for your vote on Tuesday, November 5th. Thank you.
Hi everybody, it's great being back here at Coventry Town Hall. I don't know if you remember, but a few years ago I was your state representative. Had the honor of serving in Tom Seats' old seat. It was always Tom's seat. And, now I'm on Green City Council. I just wanted to kind of talk about why I decided to run for this position 4 years ago and why I want to continue to hold this position. A few years ago, my wife was diagnosed with a brain tumor. It was benign, and she survived. But during that process, the city of Greene, the community, really rallied around us and helped us through that really tough time. And I wanted to repay that kindness that the city of Greene showed us by serving again as city councilman. And so over the last 4 years, I've had the true honor of serving as your city councilman at large. Prior to that, I was your state representative for several years, where we worked on everything from getting the Portage Lakes named the Purple Martin Capital of Ohio, which always should have been named, to having Purple Heart license plates designated as free for those who were recipients of that battle designation, and also worked on the new state's new school funding model. So I ran a lot of the gamut there. Prior to that, I was an award-winning journalist at the Akron Beacon Journal for 10 years. And since I was a state representative, I have been everything from a public policy analyst to a private practicing attorney to a Cub Scout leader to, professor at the University of, instructor at the University of Akron, and so I've been still trying to figure out what I want to do with my life, I guess. Over the last 4 years, I'm proud to have held the first hearings in the city on the city's opioid crisis. That has now become an issue that the city is leading on, and I was proud to have played some small role in making sure that we paid attention to that. In addition, I did vote to keep the Nexus pipeline out of our parks and community. That ended up coming in anyway, but I wanted to stand up for the residents because that's who I work for. I work for you. I've held more town hall meetings than anyone else on council. I want to keep continuing to communicate with you, and over the next 4 years, I hope that we can grow together and become a better community that's focused on the heart that really shone through when me and my family needed it the most. And I look forward to serving so that we can continue to do that together. Thank you.
I just came here for the candy corn. Welcome everybody. I am Judge David Fish, and believe it or not, I've been your judge for 12 years. A lot of people don't really know that because, you know, you're rule followers. You would have no reason to know me. But before that, I was your prosecutor out here in Coventry and Greene and New Franklin and Clinton for the 16 years preceding that. And so for about 28 years, I've just been wholly ingrained in our community, getting to know families, getting to know attorneys, getting to know almost literally every law enforcement officer, and building those kind of relationships that help me make a better decision on really what's the best way to address kind of the issues that are facing us. And so to that end, I am very honored and proud to be the only candidate in this race to have received the highest rating of excellent from our Akron Bar Association, local association. Again, I've been out here for 28 years. I've never left you for another office. I intend to stay for another 6 years if you'll have me. Maureen O'Connor had an issue with security in our courts and look for an advisory council. So she called and asked if I would be part of that advisory council to actually oversee physical security and cybersecurity in the state of Ohio. So I've been proud to serve setting the standards for, again, security for the state. I've also been honored by the local, I'm sorry, not the local, but the state bar and the group that I'm associated with. I've been asked to mentor the new judges at least 3 times in the last 6 years to kind of teach them. And I've also been selected to be an educator in our judicial college, teaching the new judges what we need to do and how to do the job. So I've been very honored by everybody's response in that regard. That's statewide, but locally, that's where my heart is. I'm on the Criminal Justice Advisory Board advising the county executive about what to do with the issues that are facing us here, addressing the issues of drugs and mental health. We have a specialized court. We were the first specialized court in the Barberton Court for mental health. We now have kind of a co-occurring drug court, and we're actually, I'm talking with my colleague Judge McKinney, and we're going to talk about combining both of them and making it a recovery court. Because if you have a drug court, you got a mental health court. You got a mental health court, you got a drug court. So those are the things that I'm doing. Boy, there's not enough time to tell you all the other things I want to do, but thank you. I hope I've earned your trust, and I look for your vote on November 5th.
All right, next I'm going to introduce myself. I'm speaking on behalf of a friend of mine, Jill Flag Lanzinger, who's at an event tonight that a law firm hosted for her that has run a little late. So I'm just going to give you a few bits of information about Jill. Jill is a longtime resident of Greene and very active in our community. She's a board member of the Portage Lakes Advisory Council. She's a Rotarian, a Kiwanian. She serves on the Polar Bear Committee, and she also has over 10 years experience as a trial lawyer. During that time, she won a case with the Ohio Supreme Court. She has 4 years of experience as a judge, and during that time, she founded the Barberton Municipal Drug Court. Jill has 3 children that all go to Greene: Bella, Alex, and her son David, who is autistic. In honor of that, her husband Bill, who is a hand surgeon at the Cleveland Clinic, is the current board chair for the Akron Autism Society, and he's currently working to make the Cleveland Clinic autism friendly, which will be the first hospital in the nation to be autistic friendly, so it's a pretty major feat. And I'm going to make this short. Jill's a good friend of mine. She's a great mom. She's an outstanding member of our community, and I know she's a phenomenal candidate for judge. So we ask, come November, to please vote for Jill Flag Lanzinger for Barberton Municipal Court. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sean Freeman. I'm currently on and running for the 5-person board of the Summit County Educational Service Center. It's a 300-employee organization that directly serves 45,000 students in nearby Summit, Portage, and Medina counties. 5 other counties, many who have autism, disabilities, and special needs. First, I'll talk a little bit about myself, then talk about the Summit County ESC. I grew up in the area, went off to college for 2 years before I ran out of money toward the end of my 2nd year. I joined the Air Force to get the GI Bill, wound up at the Defense Information School where Adrian Cronauer went, where they train all the military journalists, broadcasters, and public affairs specialists. Spent the next 4 years in active duty as a journalist and public relations specialist at a 10,000-person base in Southern California, where we were really active in dropping paratroopers and supplies into the Panama conflict, and then capturing Manuel Noriega, and then the ramp up for the first Gulf War. After that, I finished up college at Cal State University in San Bernardino, came back to Ohio. We've lived in the Portage Lakes for 26 years. I brought up my family here. I own 2 businesses in Greene. I've served on boards in a lot of community organizations, including the Autism Society of Greater Akron, Portage Lakes Fireworks Association, Habitat for Humanity, Akron Summit County Continuum of Care, and committees on the Akron Canton Food Bank and Akron Community Foundation. I was appointed by the Ohio governor to the Coventry Fiscal Oversight Commission. I'm also the race director of the Run to the Beach 5K, benefiting the Portage Lakes Advisory Council, and the race director of the One of a Kind Pet Rescue 5K, which is in about 10 days. I'm a graduate of Leadership Akron, Class 25. The ESC is what many years ago used to be called the County School Board. Now basically public schools in the region outsource specialized teaching to programs they need. We run an autism school and provide autism, hearing, speech, behavioral, occupational, psychologists, and other specialists to schools in the 8-county area. For example, a hearing specialist might work one day in Manchester, another day in Coventry, and another day in Woodridge. We also do de-escalation training, and many other types of training based on the changing needs that schools have. Having a business marketing background is a great asset to the Summit ESC, which is currently in a massive growth mode and creating unique programs. The 300 employees of the ESC do amazing work for kids with disability or IEP who need extra help. Helping serve the most vulnerable in our community and people with disabilities, and having an adult daughter on the spectrum are key reasons why I've served on many nonprofits throughout Summit County. We see many students at the ESC who need additional services to enhance their public education experience, and that's important. This combined government, nonprofit, and military experience makes me the most qualified of the candidates for the Summit ESC. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. First, a huge thank you to PLAC for inviting me to speak among so many devoted public servants, as well as a community that wants to be informed. I think that's pretty awesome. This is my first time running for an elected position, and I'm very, very excited to be with you this evening. So my name is Eric Chinacki, and I'm running for a seat on the Green School Board of Education. Now, some of you might be saying, Eric, there have been 20 plus speakers tonight, and you're running unopposed, so can you just wrap this up? I understand that, so allow me just real quick to try my best to introduce myself a little bit. I'm a lifelong Northeast Ohio resident. I was born and raised in Youngstown, Ohio. Education was always a priority in my house. My father came to the United States at the age of 13 from Poland, and always talked about the importance of education as he was raising my sister and I. He wanted us to be readers, writers, and productive members of society. So fast forward some 30 years from those lessons, and I stand before you as a proud graduate of the University of Akron, running for a seat on the Green Board of Education. I received the 30 for the Future Award from the Greater Akron Chamber of Commerce. I currently serve on the City of Green Parks and Recreation Board. I'm on the Green Schools Foundation, and I'm also co-chairing the Bulldog Dash this upcoming weekend, which raises a lot of money for our primary school and for our kindergarten school. For me, service to others is just an incredible thing. I think it's my true purpose in life, and next to being a dad to my 2 little guys that are 6 and 3 and bulldogs all to the core, this is my favorite thing. I love serving others. So as a candidate for the school board, I understand that it's paramount for the safety of the children in our schools, for the 4,200 students, for the 500 plus staff and faculty that we have in those schools. So it's always important to make sure that we're staying on top of those security advancements, as well as having the proper policies in place. So in terms of funding, which is always a topic at the State House, our community entrusts us to be good stewards, and I take that responsibility head on to minimize those expenses and maximize every single dollar that we possibly can. So at the end of the day, it's all about entrusting myself with the community to build that out, build that trust with the families and the stakeholders in our community. I want to be able to continue Green Local Schools' mission of serving our students, providing them with the opportunity to succeed in their life endeavors, whether it's education, enlistment, or employment. So the model of education is important, it's evolving, and it's vital to prepare our students for that transition. It's not easy work, and I commend the board for all of their hard work to date, and potentially join them. So I'd like to thank you for allowing me to speak with you this evening, and I hope that you will consider voting for Eric Chinacki on Tuesday, November 5th, and have a great evening. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm mainly here, I am running unopposed, but I did want to come and introduce myself and speak a little bit about myself. I have lived in Coventry for 39 years. I had 4 children go to Coventry. And my work at Coventry, I was appointed fiscal officer in March. Now, I've worked in the Coventry Township fiscal office for 18 years. So for the past 7 months, I have been fiscal officer. So the transition for me, going from the assistant to the fiscal officer to fiscal office, the fiscal officer has been hard, but maybe not as hard for other people. So I did just want to let everybody know what my qualifications were since I was appointed. Thank you.
I had no idea I was speaking tonight. Actually, I thought I was just going to be here for some questions at the end. So I have nothing, absolutely nothing prepared. And I have, I'm serving out the second of two. We lost one of our council people, and I was appointed to finish out his 2 years. And so, against that. And so this will be my own term, and that's what I'm hunting for. I'm unopposed, so good for good and got it. Please vote for me anyhow. I appreciate it.